Okay, so we're doing number 1 on accounting 211, spring 16, quiz 6. Pretty good. Okay, anyway, who's going to look at this besides you guys? Although I might not be able to record anymore when we go. I'm going to be in Oregon in the fall, so you guys might be the last time. Now summer we'll record too. But, okay, ordinary annuity payment, because I get a room over there in the summer that records, I think. But I can't have that room because our classes are too small in the regular semester. So. Okay, and then annuity due payment. If you know the ordinary annuity payment or the annuity due payment, then you can do without the future value or present or present value, future value, present value. So yeah, so they could replace that, or you can know all of them. Okay, anyway, so in any problem, figure out what you know, what you don't know, right, and solve. So do it for the first one. Plug in what you know there and solve for what you don't know. It's not a big deal. Can't believe you guys didn't do this. Yeah, I can. I think when the cash flows are really different. You have a question? You guys got answers? These are quick. Talking about me?
No, Eric.
Well, yeah, he does.
Eric. He has an attitude problem.
A problem or just an attitude?
Just attitude, really.
He has an attitude.
He seems like a pretty confident guy to me.
And if you look in there about attitude,
All right. So, what's the 100,000, you guys? Future. What's in? 8 years. By the way, what was compounded quarterly?
that would be 8 times 4.
It'd be 32. And then what would you do the interest rate?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4, it'd be 3. Even I can do this. Okay, 12%. And what else do we want to know? Yeah, I'm old. And what else do we need?
That's it.
I pointed out in my second year principles class today that when I have great-grandchildren, if I live long enough, I'll be 100 years old and my brain will be dead and I'll be sitting, with my great-grandchildren on my lap. It's going to be wonderful. Right? And they, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds like you guys, 20-year-olds, are going to be working, running businesses. Right? Yeah. You're going to be in charge. It's sending me what? Bourbon. That's right. Because when I'm 100, I might not remember having the bourbon after I have it, but I'll enjoy it at the time. Right? My family has a lot of Alzheimer's in it, so I don't know. We need to be less serious about Alzheimer's. So much of our population has it. You're going to have it. What the heck? Or senility or whatever. We're living too long. That's our problem. Not that I want to die anytime soon. How do you do this? Set it up. Future value, 100,000. Right, guys? Times 1 over 1.12 raised to the 8th. You could go look up a factor for 8 periods, 12%. You could plug it into your calculator. 8 periods, 12%. I don't care. Equals present value at time 0. True? What'd you get? This factor, if you go look it up, is what?
0.40388.
Yeah. So each dollar's worth 40 cents. So what are all 100,000 worth?
40,388.
Now most of you got that. It doesn't really get much harder than that. You just think that it does, right? Just relax. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to look for the same stuff. What do I know? Jen will invest $200,000 today. What's today? I think it is the present. Present value at time 0 is $200,000. Okay? Investment will earn 7%. I think that's a interest rate. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think you're right.
For 4 years. I think that's a number of periods. With no funds withdrawn in 4 years, what will be in there? So what are we calculating? A future value 4 years from now, right? In number of periods. Can you calculate that? Of course you can. You can set it up present value at time 0, right? Which is times, what is that, 200,000? Times interest rate 7%, the factor for that, n equals 4 periods, which is 1 point, don't put 1 over it because you're not discounting, right? 1.07 raised to the 4th. We could go look up that factor if we want. What's the factor? Future value to sum table, right? You guys get.
There is no one on the.
Oh, we don't have 7%?
No.
Oh, you had to put in your calculator. 1.07
1.3.
raised to the 4th.
1.3.
You don't have to have a fancy calculator to put in 1.07 raised to the 4th. That's not very fancy. You could take 1.07 times 1.07 times 1.07 times 1.07, couldn't you? Oh, for crying out loud. Oh my. Okay. I didn't mean to give you 7, and the table has little 7s. I guess it's in the binding of the book is where the 7 is. I don't know why you did that. 3107 times 5. Pretty funny I did though. Okay, 262, 159. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're brilliant people. Okay, let's do another one. Quince Corporation makes an investment today. That's now. Okay, they will receive a $10,000. Oh, and they want to know what it's worth today. So what do they want to know? Present value, of course. Okay, so do that for yourself, right? Write it down. I'm looking for that. Okay, and you won't screw these up. They're going to get more difficult to solve. We don't care. Or it might be several of them, several present values. And the last problem, this was a bunch of them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who cares? Or a bunch of future values.
Yeah.
But who cares? It doesn't matter. They can calculate and add things up. All right. Anyway, and a lot of people just get fried somehow with that. It's $10,000 on December 31st, and it's now January 1st. What is that? That $10,000 is a what, you guys? It's a payment. And is it ordinary or due if it's at the end of the period? Ordinary. It's an ordinary annuity payment. You got it. Just let yourself have the skills you have, you guys. By the way, the same thing happens in intermediate that happens in principles. People have been working all the way through and pounding against it and screwing everything up. Nail the final. It happens over and over and over and over. People raise their grades dramatically with the final in this class. Okay? Because it's cumulative learning, right? If you know it, you know it when you're done. No, I could care less how you do in this class. I care what job you get, and I care if you pass the CPA exam. That's it. Beyond that, you're on your own after that. Okay? That's all I'm trying to do. So all of us teaching here, that's what we're doing. 10,000, 8 years? 8, isn't it? And it's compounded annually, okay? And they want to earn 15%. What's that? Their interest rate. You got it made. Do I have to know a future value at any particular time? No, I've got an ordinary annuity payment. How many payments are there? 8 of them. How many dollars am I valued? 80,000. Do you think the present value is more or less than 80,000 for crying out loud? Less. Is it a lot? Of course. Present is less than the future, right? These are cash flows coming in, right? In the future. So, yeah, I have a future value. 1 period from now, 10, 2 periods from now, on up to 8 periods from now. Got the idea? 1 through 8. But I want to know the present value of all of that, right? I could discount all 8 of them back to now and add them up. But why do that? I've got a table that does it for me, or a calculator that does it for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ordinary annuity payment, which is $10,000, and I'm going to, by the way, is it quite a bit less than 80, you suppose, at 15% interest? It's a high interest rate, right? It's going to be a lot of interest. What if it was 5% interest? It wouldn't be much. Got it? It's compound interest. Okay, so I want to find out what that whole $80,000 is worth right now. That's what I'm doing. So this is going to be what? present value of an ordinary annuity factor, okay? Which is, right, yeah, okay, I'm using the right one, present value, okay? So what am I looking for here, you guys? N equals 8, I equals 15%, present value of an ordinary annuity. So what is that factor?
13.72. 16.
Wait, no.
That's feet, I'm sorry.
Whoa, wait a minute, 8?
Sorry.
I want a present value, yeah.
4, 8, 7.
Yeah, that'll get you out on the right table, because we already decided this present value's gotta be less than 80, right? That would've made it more. So we went the present value of an ordinary annuity. What is that?
4.48732.
So see, if you made that mistake, you'd realize it when you calculated it, wouldn't you? It's gotta be less than 80, it's not more than 80. So it's good to, maintain contact with reality here. So how much is this thing worth? $44,873.20, is that right? Something like that. Calculator a little bit different. Can't miss these, can you? Everybody good? See what we did. Four says rent corporation will receive $50,000 today. What is that thing? Yes, that's a present value. And then it says also in each January 1st for the next 6 years. Oh, today and each year for the next 6 years. What's that? 7, even counted 7 for you. 7 $50,000 receipts. What are those? I'm getting the money now. Always the same. Interest rate doesn't change. What is it? It's an annuity. What kind of an annuity? Seeing as it's due right now. Annuity due, right? So this is an annuity due payment, and that's what you have to do is realize that, and you got it made. Okay? It changes how many periods of interest there are if the payments are now instead of a year from now. Huh? Right? On every single payment. That's all that's happening. Okay? So it's 50,000. And the total amount, of course, because n equals 7, there's going to be 7 payments, is 350,000. So I am valuing $350,000, either now or in the future, right? Okay, what does it want to know? What is the present value of it? I want to know the present value. What if they were depositing it and they want to know the future value? I'm calculating a future value, that's all. Okay, so the present value is, and my interest rate, how much do they want to earn? 18%. Okay, is this similar to the last question? Yeah. But instead of an ordinary annuity, what is it? It's an annuity due. Just threw you to another table, right? Or you can convert between the two tables, can't you? Right? Okay. So what do you got? I'm going to take the annuity due payment. I hope when you're looking at these now, you're kind of, how did I miss any of these? That's what we want. Just falls out for you on the test. N equals 7. I equals 18%. Be careful. It's an annuity due factor, right? Do we have that table? Is that the one they did not give us?
Present value and annuity due.
Yeah, future. Do we have that? I want the
Yeah, we
present.
have present.
Whoops, did I write down future? No, yeah, no.
Here we have.
I want present value, yeah. We do have that one. Okay, so let's go 7 periods, 18%. What's our factor? 7.002. Is that right? Whoops, wrong line. We're on number 4. Wait, 4.498. Is that right?
We don't have the 18%.
Oh, you don't have 18%. So you'd have to use your calculator or grab a computer, I guess, and go find it. Right? Or what could you do? Do you have a present value of a sum for 18%? We don't have 18% for that either. But
That's not
we can table. Yeah. So you had to calculate it, I guess. You could calculate the factor for each of 7 years. 1 over 1.07, right? The first plus 1 over 1.07 raised to the second plus, and do all of them down to 1.07 1 over 1.07 raised to the 7th, and then add them all up. Okay, and again, I didn't mean to give you 7 years. It's stuck in the middle of it. Okay, the other thing you could have done is interpolate between the two of them. That would work. Let's see how close, let's see what this answer is. It's 224,880. So if you had a nice calculator, you could get that, okay? Or if you had access to a table, you could get that. But what you could do instead is you could take the one for 7 years, the one for 6, and the one for 8. Take the factor for 6 years plus the factor for 8 years from the tables. Somebody want to do that? You got the tables there. Anybody else using tables? So take the one for 6 years and the one for 8 years at, what was the interest rate? 18%? Let's interpolate. Now let's see what kind of a factor we get. What's the factor for 6 years? N equals 6, and then we'll do N equals 8, and then we'll just take the average of it, right? About there. What are those two factors? What's 6?
That's still in the present value of the annuity too.
Yeah. I'm just giving you an approximation of what 7 would have been.
We don't have an 18%.
Oh, we don't even have an 18% or 7 years?
It stops at 15.
Oh, never mind. We can interpolate on that too, but it's not going to be very accurate.
I wonder where we missed that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of mean without the table, I guess. Okay, unless you have a calculator that will do it. Your calculator will do it. Right?
Yeah.
Those annuities.
Maybe if I run through the formula. Not like.
Oh, you'd have to use the
special,
formula.
yeah.
You don't have a special calculator. Yeah, that's.
The 83. Plain thing.
So that one was rough. Let's try another one. On number 5. On January 1st, 2014, Carl Company decided to begin accumulating a fund for asset replacement 5 years from today. So what's that? N equals 5? Everybody agree with that one? Company plans to make 5 annual deposits of $80,000. Interest rate is 7. Says that. And then they're going to make $80,000 deposits. So what do we need to know about those deposits? They're doing 5 of them, so we're talking about $400,000. Right, guys? What do you think? Beginning January 1st, beginning now? What does that make this thing? Another annuity, dude. Do we have 7% interest? God, I hope so. 5 periods. You know, what would be the balance within $10 on January 1st, 2019, 1 year after the last deposit? So that just makes it an annuity due, right? And I'm calculating what? Future value this time? Future value 5 periods from now? That's what I want to know. So what do? You take your annuity payment. By the way, is this going to be worth more or less than $400,000? You're adding interest. What do you think? More. Yeah. So I got my annuity due payment. How much is it? 80,000. And I'm valuing what 5 payments is worth. So this factor is going to be more than 5, right? So this is a future value 5 periods from now. Okay. So I want a future value of an annuity due. Is that the table we don't have? One of them we don't have. I don't know why the authors do that. I guess they think it's fun.
Future value of annuity too.
That's the one we don't have. So you're going to have to take the future value of an ordinary annuity and convert it, right? Okay, what's going to happen? 1 more interest payment, right? Take the factor times 1 plus the interest rate and you got it, right? Take the same factor. Or go down a year and subtract 1 from the factor. That's faster. The interest rate is what? 7%. The number of periods is what? 5. All right. So what's that factor? What's the one? Let's do it first. What's the factor for the future value of an ordinary annuity? We do have that factor, right? If you have the future value of an ordinary annuity, right? What is that one for 7%, 5 periods? What's that factor? This is an ordinary annuity, so the payments would go in at the end of the year, so there's 1 less period interest than we need, right? On all of them. What's that factor?
Love that 7% that we don't.
Oh, geez, we don't have 7% either?
Really?
It makes it.
That was really mean. It was really mean, yeah. So, I guess what I would have done if I were you guys, you have your phones, right? That's what I do. Absolutely, I'd call it up or my laptop.
I didn't even know you were doing that. I used the formulas.
Yeah, using the formulas is just fine. Yeah, using the formula is just fine. The formula is in the book, right? Formula's right on the future value table, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the formula's right there. You can plug into the formula, which isn't particularly difficult, really. You do that, or you could call it your phone a present value table, right? Or a future value table, or whatever you need. The annuity tables. Why did I use 7% so many times on you guys? Probably changed them all to 7 for you guys, just to make it different from another time. Oh, well. That was kind of mean, huh? Turn your brains. What's that?
I said, can we get points back?
Yeah, in the final, you can get a whole bunch of points. Yeah, you get all that. Okay, anyway. What would you do? What would you do though if you knew the future value of an ordinary annuity factor? What would you do to it to bring it to I'm sorry, if you knew a future value of an ordinary annuity factor to make an annuity due, what would you do to it? Take it times 1 plus the interest rate, right? You can change one table to another really easy, right? Just add a 1 period interest to everything. So that factor, whatever it would be, times 1.07 would, so the future value of an ordinary annuity, right, would become a future value of an annuity due. How would you go the other direction? Just divide, okay? That's the way I like to do it, just because it makes more sense to me. Easy way the author shows you to do it is go down one line. So you have 8 periods, right? And then you take that factor and subtract 1 from it, and it's still there, right? Still works. Okay, so you can convert either one, right? Or take 1 last year and add 1 to it, either way. Okay. Now that was really neat. So when I went and looked up the factor, I guess, I should use your tables when I'm calculating these. What I do is I call them up on the computer, and I have all kinds of. Well, I don't have to carry my book around with me. So it's 80,000 times 6.153 gives you 492. But you know what we could have done too is we could interpolate. Let's do interpolate on this one then. That way we could get it, I think. What could we do? Let's interpolate to get this number. Take the factor for what? 8%? We got 5 periods, right? Do n equals 5. Do the 8% factor for me. Give me that one. And give me the 6% factor. This is interpolation. Let me show you how to do this. You can always do this. And I showed you in class, but I show you lots of things in class. So interpolate. What's 8%? What's the factor for 8% on the future value of an ordinary annuity, which is the table we have, right? How much is that?
5.866.
Okay. What's the one for 6%?
5.637. 637.
What's the difference, which represents 2%? That does represent 2%, right? More easier, we just add the two together and divide by 2. Either way. You add those two factors together and divide by 2 and approximate the factor. Let's do that. That's fine. Add 5.86660, and plus 5.63709. Add the two together, divide by 2. That would give you the average of the two, right? Which is about 7% in between. What's that factor?
5.75184.
Or if those numbers weren't exactly halfway, what you could do is you could take the difference between the two. Let's do it that way too. What's that? 2.23. Give me the number, guys. That's 1. That's 5. That's 9. That's 2.22951, is it?
Yes.
That represents 2%. Divide it by 2. Okay, so now divide that by 2 to get down to 1%.
0.114755.
And then take that, right, and add it to the 5.63, or subtract it from the 5.866. Interpolation. That's all it is. You're just estimating where it's at in between. They'll give you the same answer, won't it? But now this is the future value of an ordinary annuity. How do you make an annuity due? Take it times 1.07. So let's take 5.75184 times 1.07 and see how close we get. It won't be exact because it's compounding. What's 5.75184 times 1.07?
6.15447.
5, 4.
447.
See, it wasn't exact, was it? But it's awful close. Got it? Okay? So we would have had an answer that would be acceptable. We always could have done that. Okay? You can always interpolate. And even on that early one, we could have interpolated twice. Okay? Pretty well. Okay. Stay away from 7% with this ridiculous offer. Yes. Let's do 6. All right, this one pays 9 at least. Hen company wishes to accumulate 800,000. What's that thing? Future value. When is it? 8 payments? 8 periods from now? They're going to make the payments when? Doesn't really matter. Right? Well, it does matter. It's annuity due, an ordinary annuity. So it's a future value some number of periods from now, and 8, right? Just say 8 payments. How much do we want to have? 800,000? All right. What's the interest rate, everybody? Good. What else do we need to know? Payment, maybe? Right? Oh, that's what we're looking for. When are these payments going to be?
Beginning.
Okay, beginning. This is an ordinary or due? Annuity due. Just that simple. Beginning is due, ending is ordinary, right? Okay, that's what we're looking for. So we know what we're after. Okay, what else do we need?
Number of change.
Yeah, but we already knew that, see, right? Yeah, we got everything we need, don't we? Okay, so let's calculate this thing. What do we have? Some annuity due payment. And you can do this as a division instead of a multiplication, I don't care. Annuity due payment. Times a factor, or plug it in the calculator either way, is going to give me a future value 8 periods from now, right? Of $800,000. So how big is that payment? If I knew the factor, I could divide the factor into the 800,000 and get the payment, couldn't I? Number of periods, 8. Interest rate, 9%. And all these are compounded annually. Watch for that on the final, right? Because I don't have to have them annual. I can have them semi-annual or quarterly or monthly or something. Throw you off a little bit. Okay, so what's that factor if you go look it up? What kind of a factor is this thing? Future value. Future value. Yeah. That's also the one we don't have, right? But can I find the present value of an annuity due? Oops, I'm sorry. Can I find the future value of an ordinary annuity? Yeah, and then can I take it times 1.09 and get the factor? Yeah, if you want to use tables. I can still use tables. What is the factor for the future value of an ordinary annuity? And we'll take that times 1.09, won't we?
11.02.847.
Times what? 1.09 to add an extra interest payment to each one, right? Because the money goes in at the beginning of the period, not the end.
12.02.10.
Okay. Or again, you can use the tables, right? Fine. So divide 12.02, 103 into 800,000, and what do you get? 42,012, something like that. Whoops, wrong line.
66.
66,550. Sound good? Somewhere around there. You guys can do this now. Does this take more than just knowing how to do present values and future values? Yeah, you got to really know what you're doing. Okay? That's what we want, of course. If I give them to you straightforward, like this first couple, everybody gets it. 7. What amount should be recorded as the cost of a machine purchased December 31st, 13, financed by 8 payments beginning then? So what is this thing? This is an annuity due too, isn't it? Right? They're $6,000 payments. So I've got a $6,000 annuity due payment. How many are there going to be? 8 of them. How much is that total? You don't have to calculate that, but it's not a bad idea. Okay? And what's the interest rate? And what else do we need? What are we calculating?
How much is it worth?
How much should it be recorded at? That's what it's worth right now, right?
Yeah.
You record things at their cost? Sure. Present value times 0. Let's just ask for the present value. Okay, so what's this? This is the present value of an ordinary annuity, isn't it? That I'm calculating. That's it. So my annuity due payment. And you can set this up any way you're comfortable with. I don't care. Do I care if you use tables, calculators, the formula? Not in the least.
Get it right.
Yeah, get it right, get it right. Okay, so whatever you have to do. So this is 6,000, and I'm valuing the whole 48, right? By the way, is the present value of something more or less than the future value? Less, how about that? It's going to be less than 48,000. So if you get on the wrong table, you'll know, won't you? Right? It's got to be less than 48. Okay, n equals what? 8. I wouldn't write all this down. I'm just doing it for emphasis here. 4%, right? Okay, so what's that factor going to be?
7.025.
And we had that at the table, didn't we? We have it too, so fine. 6,000 times 7.00205, what is that? 42,012?
It's just not hard.
What's that? Yeah, right, I got written down. Okay, so I didn't do it in my head when I did it either.
I don't know how Dick does it all.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's
You know what, Deck used to be really valuable because he had a memory. He knew all the students who had graduated from here since he started, which was a year after me, their names and where they were working. It's just a gold mine. It's gone. Not just because he's leaving, it's gone the last couple of years. Geez, Deck, you were my institutional memory.
And
you know.
now Keith has to remember, and that's not
Keith doesn't remember any of it. So now I'm trying to get the alumni office to write it all down for us, which we tried to get him to do it forever, but yeah, we're still working. We'll work. Never give up hope, you guys. What interest rate? That's a big job to keep track of where all the graduates are, but boy, is it valuable when you're asking for money. What interest rate would you earn if you invested 862 now? We're on number 8, and 10,000 and received 10,000 for 15 years. Oh, first 10,000 is now. But what would you call the 87,862 we're investing now?
Present value.
Present value. Absolutely. So you do that. What would you call the 10,000 that's going to be received? That's an annuity, and it's now, right? So it's an annuity due, right, guys? And how much is that? 10,000. And how many periods is it? 15. How much money is that? 150,000. You think this is a fairly high interest rate? Probably, because 150,000 received in the future is only worth 88,000 now, right? The difference is interest, so it's probably fairly high, right? Okay, it's 15 years. So what do? I know my present value. I know my annuity payment. The way I like to set them up, and I like multiplying instead of dividing for some reason. I don't know why. Annuity due payment is $10,000 times some factor, right? That's what I don't have, right? Because I don't know the interest rate. That's what I'm looking for. That's what it asked for, right? By the way, I could have given you the interest rate and not the number of periods. You could have calculated the number of periods instead. Didn't make any difference. Right? I have one of those later, don't I? Okay, and this is going to be a present value at time 0. Can you guys tell me what that factor must have been? Or you just plug into your calculator and have to solve for interest, right? That's nice too. Our calculator's great. Or our computer.
2.7862.
Yeah. So if you don't have a fancy calculator, what do? Go look it up. So you go to 15 years. Do we have 15, I hope, on the table?
Yes.
And you go across until you find 8.7862, right? And what interest rate did you find? Real close to 9%? 9 and what?
What?
9 exactly.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Made it work. Okay.
It was 8.999.
Yeah. All right. Everybody good? These are easy, aren't they? Everything's easy. All right. You know how. 9. If machine is purchased by making payments of $5,000 at the beginning of each of the next 5 years. Man, I got stuck on annuity dues, didn't I? Very many ordinaries here. That's an annuity due payment. I guess I'll have to give you all the ordinaries on the on the final.
The tables we actually have.
Oh yeah, you had most of these. Come on. Okay, how much? 5,000. How many payments?
5.
That's funny. Explains what you're missing. Interest rate, 5%. Several of them. All right, and what do I want to know? What's the cost of the machine? What's that? What it costs now is the present value. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my annuity due payment. Don't go away mad. See ya. $5,000. By the way, how much are we valuing? $25,000.
That's the present
Is the present value going to be more or less than 25? Less. Okay. It's only 5% interest, and it's only 5 years, so it won't be that much less, but it's going to be less, right? How much interest would there be, right? That's all we're doing. Okay. And so I want the present value. So I want a present value of an annuity due, right? Where N equals 5, I equals 5%. Okay. What's that factor? Is it 4.5, 46? You look it up. Okay, take the 5,000 times that, what do you get for the value of the whole 25,000?
22,729.
Now, I am somewhat sympathetic on the ones where I gave you something difficult to get off of your tables, but not of these, huh? How could you miss these? You won't, right? Okay. You want to leave? Do the rest of the page. Have to go. Do the rest of the page. Other folks can listen to it. Right. Wait one. Yeah. So you can pick up there. What are we on? Number 10, I guess? Yeah. Call company has a machine that costs $200,000. What's that? It's present value, right? Lease for 20 years. What's that? Probably in. Rent is received at the end of each year. What's that? Ordinary annuity payment. Got it.
Whoa, you switched it up.
Yeah, I finally did something different. Okay, and it wants to know what that payment is, huh? What's the other piece they gave us? The interest rate is how much? 10%? Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So what do you want to do? Some ordinary annuity payment, whatever it is, times what? The factor is going to give me my present value, which I do know is $200,000, isn't it, guys? N equals 20, I equals 10%. Be watching for if it's quarterly or something, right? Or monthly. What if it was quarterly?
You would divide the
Periods
interest
would be,
rate by 4.
you divide the interest rate by 4, 10 would become 2.5, right, guys?
Yes.
And what else would you do? Take the
Multiply.
periods times 4, and it'd be 80 periods. So that'd be 80 periods at 2.5%. It would, wouldn't it? So you can remember, watch for that. Okay, anyway, I don't think I need to remember this. Okay, so, and what is this? This is the present value of an ordinary annuity. Ordinary annuity this time, right? One less period of interest. Right, guys? At the end of the period? Or actually one more, I guess it is. What's the factor for that? 8.
10% 20 years.
Yeah, 5 and 4. Is it 8.5 and 4? Divide it in, right? And what do you get for your payment? 23.
Yeah.
492. Ta-da. Got it? Got it. Do 11. Look at the first page. Number 11. January 1st, they sold 400,000 of its bonds. What's a bond going to be? The principal is a lump sum, right? You're going to get the present value of a future payment, one payment, and then the rest is an annuity. The interest is an annuity, right? So it's two calculations, add them together, right? Two different cash flow streams. So I want to know the present value of what? Well, let's see. I have a future value, how many periods from now? See, how many years is this thing? It's semi-annual, right? But they do interest for 6 months. How long does the bond go for? Oh, it just wants the first 6 months. Oh, it didn't have it. Oh, I could value this stuff. We could figure out what it was. That's terrible. Oh, well. This is easy, right? We just want to do the first one for the period into June 30th,
Yeah,
2014.
you already have.
They already calculated it. We don't have to calculate it. That's nice. This one's easy. What do we got? How much was the bond issued for?
Wait, 400.
Debit cash. How much?
Oh, 354, 118.
Credit bond payable. How much?
400.
If I had you recorded, you could have done this. 45.
Discounts the bonds payable.
Yeah. So the carrying amount of the bond, the amount borrowed, is just the cash.
That'd be 882.
Thank you. Okay. So for the first period, the second or third period's hard, right? Because you'd have to amortize first, right? Okay. But this one's not going to be bad. This is just the first 6 months. What do we do? The amount that was borrowed was 354, 118. You're not going to believe this.
And multiply it.
What's our interest rate?
12%.
12%, but that's a year. Take it at 6%.
6%.
Yeah. Right? Half a year is only 6%. So that's 21,247.
Sure.
Well, that was easy. That is.
Got that one?
How much you doing? Easy, isn't it? If that's how much they borrowed and they're paying 6% every 6 months, that's 6 months went by. How many of you got that one? You got
I think
one? You think you did? Oh, no. Okay.
All I know is I got the final question right, but still struggle on the rest of it.
The final question, 17.
The retirement plan.
Yeah,
I got all of that. I got
3,536,208.
every single calculation of that correct, but I could not do a simple present value, future value.
That's funny. 175, 160. Yeah, that's funny. You did all the hard part. Well, it's not hard. It's just you have to make a lot of things right. Okay, last one. On January 15, 2014, Flight Corp adopts a plan to accumulate funds in environmental protection beginning July 1st, 2014. So what's that? 6 months later?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's it going to be? And it's an annuity, is it? So it's a, what kind of an annuity if it comes later? Ordinary annuity payment. Got it. That's what it wants, right? No, it gave you that, didn't it? Okay. How much are they going to deposit? 782.
Wait, would this not be beginning?
So it plans to adopt the funds beginning July 1st.
And then it says
oh,
first
yeah, so this
deposit.
could be an annuity. You could make it an ordinary annuity or annuity due. You just have a different number of periods, right? Yeah, so, yeah. So it'd be easier to do it as an annuity due, wouldn't it? I think so. That's what I did. You don't have to move it over, okay? So annuity due, yeah, because it's going to be July 1st, 2014, and we want to know.
The first deposit was made on July 1st.
Yeah, and then we're going to, and they want to have a future value, some number of periods from now, which we don't know, of 4 million. This is tougher when it's set up this way. So here's your payments, times some number of payments, right? So, you know, you're going to have that. And we want to have a future value. So it's going to grow, right? So right now you can tell it's less than 6, right? Because 6 times 783, right? It's way more than 4 million, right? You know, so anyway. And then, so it's got to be, it looks like 4. Let's look at it. It looks like 4, right? Because 4 times 800 is 3 million too, and then there'd be interest. But it might be 4.5 or 4, you know, or 3.8 or something.
When you calculate, you get 4.33.
Oh,
Why do
okay.
you round down?
Should be 4.3. It shouldn't be 4 years. It should be 4.3 years.
Well, that's what I got.
Did I mark it wrong?
No, that's what I got.
Yeah, no, that should be. It should be 4.3.
Why do you round down? Just,
Oh, you don't?
so 4.3 should be what we wrote. Because when we redid it and I like wrote the right answer on my old quiz, I got short 4.
Yeah, no, I accepted 4, but it's more than 4.
Well, I just got 4.
Well, maybe it is. Well, I don't know. Maybe you did the math wrong for 4.3. Let's try it. Okay, let's try it. And maybe it wasn't.
Wait, did you do an ordinary do? Or, I mean,
Again,
Did you do an ordinary annuity or an ordinary
I
due?
did ordinary.
There's
No,
no
no, I
such
didn't
thing.
do.
Annuity due payment.
really?
That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
I think it's an annuity due payment. So maybe I worked it wrong. Okay, anyway, so future value. The interest rate,
10.
10%. That's right.
Annually.
And this is annual, even though it's July, it's annual. Okay. All right. That's it, right? And then what we want to know is end. Okay. So we can do this. And so if I get the factor, then I go to the interest rate for 10%, I can find it. Or if I have a fancy calculator, it'll do it for me. So my annuity due payment. With more and more people having the nice calculators and people being good at using them, we probably should just require everybody to have one, but I hate that. They're not cheap still, are they?
You can't use that on your computer account, right?
No, can't use it anyway. Yeah, but they're gonna give, you know what they do there? They give you factors.
Oh,
They'll give you a whole bunch of different factors,
that
like
would be
5 or
nice,
6.
wouldn't it?
They'll give you 5 or 6, and you have to
Will they
pick
give
the
you
one
the
that's the right
7%
one.
factor that we need?
Yeah, they probably would. Yeah, they probably would. Well, we're not gonna make this as easy as that little quiz. Come on, that would be fun for me. Okay, and so what is this? Future value?
Yeah.
Some number of periods from now,
Which is
and
4 million.
so it's 4 million. So what you do is you take the 4 million and you divide it by 782,779, right? What's the factor? 5.1099. Does that sound right? So now I've got that factor, and I know the interest rate is 10%. And I don't know the number of periods. That's what I'm going to calculate, right? Okay. So you go to a table. Which one? It's the future value of an annuity due table.
Oh, you know.
So go to the future value of an annuity due table that you don't have. Yeah, fun, huh? But you know what I could do with this factor? I can turn it into an ordinary annuity factor. How would I do that?
Can you show us?
What would you do to it? 5.1099 times future or divide? Divide, yeah, because we're taking interest out. Take 5.1099 and divide it by 1.10, and you will get the factor, right, for an annuity due payment. This is accumulating. I didn't. We're
Wait,
gonna.
factor for
No, it's the other way. Take it times. You got it right to begin with. We're adding interest, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the annuity dues at the beginning of the period. This is an ordinary annuity factor, right? No, this is an annuity due factor, and we're going to an ordinary table. Divide. That'd be crazy.
Are we sure about this?
Yeah, pretty sure. What's the number?
4.6454.
Okay. So go find that factor in the 10% column. How many years do you get?
4.
4. Okay. So it is real doable. Yeah, really.
Good thing my calculator.
No wonder the mean
Can I
is
print
10.
out all the tables? Like, can I go online and?
Sure.
Really?
I don't care. Why would I care?
For the final?
Yeah. That's not cheating, is it?
No.
So I can get. I can
Yeah, you go online, they're out there.
I
No
mean,
problem. Type in present value, PF, TV factor. No. Nice thing to know, huh? God, you could have told me that before we started. That'd take all the fun out of it. Give you guys. Just work hard. Just work hard. Know everything.
Oh, stop the
Just know
recording.
everything.